Back in 2015, the Focus School was introduced, and in my opinion, Nman was the meta since it has one of the most broken features in Warframe called the Shadow Step. For those new players, Shadow Step is a passive skill wherein after 3 minutes I think you can activate your Focus School, and then each critical hit from your melee will make you invisible. The invisibility won't break, and players were just spamming red crit maiming strike Atarax to get the invisibility and kill enemies with the high slash and bleed damage of the melee weapon. It's a synergy without weakness, and in fact Warframe abilities have become obsolete because you can just use the Atarax and the Nman Focus to spin and progress through almost all the missions in the star chart that requires no boss fights. Then, the Focus School was reworked a couple of times, deleting the broken Nman synergy and balancing all the Focus Schools to make them all playable instead of just using one focus to rule them all. But honestly, nothing has changed, and there are still Focus Schools that are close to being useless right now. The intention and the design of these Focus Schools are good, and it offers a different way to play or sort of add on to the combo you are trying to create. Say, for example, the Warframe Focus, which offers survivability to the user. Its Guardian Shell ability is like a fancy frost snow globe that is invulnerable for 4 seconds, and its health will deplete per hit. After it breaks, it will give your party insane health regeneration, which makes it an awesome asset for the team. It also has the protective sling ability that grants immunity to damage after void dashing to allies, and on paper, it makes you the best support in a team, keeping all the members alive in the mission. However, operator mode has a limit, and let me ask you this, would you use the invulnerability of this Focus School when you have shield gating right now? Or even crazy Warframes such as Dante that can give constant overguard to the team? If it's a passive buff that when the Focus is activated, the Warframe will benefit the health regen or invulnerability for a couple seconds, then it would somehow be good. However, you will need to be in your operator to activate this feature, and I guess you won't consider that at all, knowing that other team setups don't require you to go in and out from your Warframes. Before we continue, I would humbly ask for your support by simply liking this video and sharing your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, I see that most of you watching are not yet subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to get updates on our latest videos. Thank you so much for all your support. Now let's continue the topic and let's get into another Focus School that I think has lost its purpose because other features in the game are better compared to it. I am not saying that it's useless, as you can still use it in specific combos, but if we talk about the Onar Focus, then somehow there's a thought in the back of my mind that there's a better defense stripping option compared to the Focus School. Onar Focus, after the addition of Magnetic Flare and Caustic Strike that can rip the shield and armor of enemies respectively, became a very good Focus School. This was the time that group and nuke setup became popular, as after pulling enemies within one place, you can cast Magnetic Flare and Caustic Strike to strip all defenses of the target and nuke them with your AoE weapons or abilities. But then again, there are helmet abilities right now such as Pillage or even Styanax Thorough Strike that strip all the defenses of enemies without transferring out from your Warframe. It's still a good tool though if you have no option of subsuming helmet builds, but take note that we also have Emerald Archon Shard right now paired with Corrosive to get 14 stacks of the element and strip all the armor of enemies. It's not the same as a total defense strip, but honestly most of the missions that are worth playing in Warframe right now have enemies with high armor. You rarely see rewarding missions that have Corpus enemies with high shield values. And of course, if there is one, then high shield values can easily be countered with toxin damage. Also, Onar Focus is used by players for the Poise passive that grants knockdown resistance for 40 seconds. This is great when you have primed sure-footed yet, but with the overguard mechanic being widely used in the game right now, and Dante being popular and one of the most played Warframes, you rarely need the Poise passive for the knockdown resistance. And of course, if you know how to avoid and what enemies cause knockdowns in the game, then it's really easy to counter it without the need for a primed mod only available after playing more than a year of Warframe. As I have said, you can still use the Onar Focus, but it's not as popular as before, as there are new features in the game that can give you knockdown resistance and defense stripping. If there are meta Focus Schools right now, I honestly think that these are the Nman, Zenu, and Matai Focus. Zenu will always be meta because of the energy restoration it gives to players. The Focus School is mainly the alternative for those who don't want to spend or don't have any platinum to spend for a max rank arcane energize that sells for about 1,000 platinum. There are also new aura mods and even another mod from Whispers in the Walls that gives you energy regeneration, and it pairs well with the Zenu Focus School. In addition, Nourish is still meta, despite digital extremes lowering the energy regeneration multiplier, and when you have Nourish in your build, it's always a good choice to pair it with the Zenuric's energy regeneration, unless you are using some specific melee builds or you require to increase damage in your operator's void damage. Another thing that is very useful with the Zenu Focus is the slow can deal with its temporal drag ability. The ability allows you to deal 100% slow with its upgraded version while doing a precision headshot, and the best part is, it works with some bosses in the game except for special bosses such as Archons and Eidolons. Aside from that, the Zenu has a passive also that increases energy pickup values, which makes it a focus intended for energy maintenance, plus the ability to slow somehow stun lock bosses in games so you can easily kill them. With all the energy regeneration mods, abilities, and other stuff added to Warframe, pairing it with Zenu will help you maintain your energy without the help of Arcane Energize. Because of this, the Focus School survived the test of time. And in fact, back in 2015, Zenu was another meta focus that was loved, especially by those new players and those who are just progressing in the game. In 2024, however, I think that not only 2 focus schools dominate the meta, but there are actually 3. Zenu probably sits at the top in my opinion, while number 2 is Nman, and the third one is Matai Focus School. The Nman Focus School has potential for finisher builds, and since we have a new legendary arcane called Melee Crescendo that grants an initial combo count per finisher kill, then you can use this focus school to do this specific combo. But honestly, finisher builds are rarely used in the game unless you want to chill and do it in a solo mission. The most common use for Nman Focus is in melee combo builds. This focus school has a passive that stops draining your full combo count, and this is especially helpful if you want to put all the mods to increase the damage in your melee weapons and you don't have any room for a combo duration mod. You can also pair this with an arcane dexterity to ensure that the combo count is at 12 times combo multiplier all the time. Nman may not have the same broken shadow step when it was released, but still, the focus school still thrives because of its usefulness in melee builds. On the other hand, Matai Focus doesn't just serve as an eidolon hunting tool right now, but the focus school has seen more usage because Digital Extremes added enemies like Thrax and Void Angels that happen to be vulnerable with the void damage of the operator. When you want to reach millions of damage on your operator's void damage against Thrax units and endless void cascade runs, then Matai Focus is your best bet in killing them in one shot. Right now, eidolon hunting is not that good when it comes to getting the ever-elusive arcane energized, as there are Omnia Fissures, specifically Void Cascade Omnia Fissures, which can give your prime parts, resources for the Helminth Void Traces, and arcanes, which you can use for the Arcane Dissolution system. You can turn these arcanes from Thrax units to Vosphor and exchange it for arcane collections such as the Duviri arcanes and the arcanes from the Plains of Eidolon. It's like a one-stop shop for arcanes, and in my opinion, the Arcane Dissolution system is better compared to the super time-gated Eidolon hunt. I'm not saying that Omnia Void Cascade is not time-gated, but honestly, it doesn't take up that much effort to do the mission, and it requires little investment compared to Eidolon hunting. And since Void Cascade is a mission wherein Thrax units are present, Matai Focus has become one of the most popular focus schools in the game. Now, I know that I haven't discussed other things such as the extra armor that Onar Focus can give to your operator in Warframe, or the increase of health that the Valorant Focus can give, but these buffs and other features are not that important in real mission, honestly. The armor bonus of Onar is not that big at all, and it doesn't help you survive just by using the passive buff bonus. Most of the things I have discussed here are how important a focus school is in real missions, and I honestly think that Zenu, Nman, and Matai Focus schools are the meta right now. Before we finish this video, I would also like to know your thoughts about the current state of focus schools right now. Do you agree with my take, or do you have a different situation that leads you to rank the focus schools differently? Let me know in the comments section and let's try to discuss it there. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Squad Leader, signing off.